Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 995th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say, this is a new type battle that we're just introducing to Rome Total War, and this is a 3v5. Okay, so 3 armies versus 5 armies in this particular new battle type. And just to say that the other team, we've only played one battle like this before, and the other team was just beating us with a clear victory. Okay, so that's one off of a crusher. Alright, so as I say, it's a 3v5. We've only played one of this battle types before, and we were beaten in a clear victory by the other team. Okay, so this is like kind of a rematch for that. You'll see that we've got map advantage and money advantage. Our first teammate is Gotw Romex. Now he's got 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Check out the upgrades on his infantry. You'll find that some of his infantry have got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. His cavalry is usually quite good. There are 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. But if I remember correctly, he's got mixed upgrades with his infantry. There are some of his infantry have just got gold shield, gold attack on, as you can see there. But I think the majority of his infantry have got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Don't forget, the 3 of us have got more money than the 5. And he's also got an eagle unit there, look, for a bit of morale boosting ability there. Okay. I'll explain a little bit more about the game a little bit later on. Okay, our next teammate is someone who called himself Chinny Poo, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. Now he's got 8 Silver Shield Pikes, 6 Silver Shield Legionnaires, 5 Cataphracts and 1 Chariot unit. If you check out the upgrades there on his Silver Shield Legionnaires, you'll see he's got 7 upgrades and experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. If you look closely, they do look a lot like Roman troops. They throw pilers, they can form testudo, and to be honest with you, they're pretty solid infantry, the Silver Shield Legionnaires. They're pretty good. And then you've got the Silver Shield Pikeman there. Once again, he's put 7 upgrades on and experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So that tells me, if he's only put 7 upgrades on his infantry, his cavalry is going to be really well upgraded as well. Oh my gosh. Check out the upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 upgrades. Fully upgraded Seleucid Cataphracts here. Fully upgraded. That's 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. That gives these guys something like a 30 defense. So, and you can see they're armored from head to toe, and as we've talked about before, we call these guys the tanks of the ancient world because they're armored from head to toe. And when they're fully upgraded like that, that is some serious cavalry there. So that's Scorpion King SR's Seleucid army. I think he's got a chariot unit there as well. There you are. We got the chariot unit as well. Remember what we've talked about with chariots, really big attacking specifications and a massive fear factor, taking morale away from enemy troops, destabilizing them, making them more susceptible to routing. But if these guys run amok and start killing, they start killing friend and foe alike. And I always say to people, if you're not confident or competent with chariots, you really need to think whether you're going to bring them or not, because if they run amok and they start killing your allies, you can become unpopular very, very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see how Scorpion King handles this chariot unit during the course of the battle there. So yeah, so that's Scorpion King's Seleucid army, and our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, and I have got 15 infantry and 5 cavalry. Okay, 15 infantry and 5 cavalry. I think if I remember right, I've got 7 upgrades on my infantry there, an experience strike, gold shield, gold attack. I've got a couple of eagle units I've bought, a couple of morale boosting eagle units there as well. Okay, and I think if I remember correctly, my cavalry is 8 upgrades. Yeah, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So as I say, it's only the second type of this battle type that we've played. We lost the first one, so we're after a bit of revenge in this battle. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Tabor, who was bought the Spanish faction. Now he's got 14 bull warriors, 4 naked fanatics, and a cavalry general. There's the bull warriors there. Just to say, if you notice on top of their helmets there, you'll see the bull's horn and the sun, and that's because the Spanish worship the sun god and the bull god. and by having those like the bull's horn holding the sun on top of their helmets, it's kind of like they take their gods into battle there. And you've got the naked fanatics there. For those of you that might not have seen the naked fanatics, actually they're kind of semi-naked, but they're called the naked fanatics there. And you've got the Spanish armoured cavalry general there. For those of you that might not have seen a Spanish armoured cavalry general, there he is there with his kind of dome-like helmet. So that is Tabor's 25k Spanish army. Okay. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Fesen. Now Fesen's got 12 chosen swordsmen, 1 druid and 3 chariots. Okay, check the upgrades on his chosen swordsman there. If you count in there, I think he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 7 upgrades on his chosen swordsman, experience, stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Of course, he's got a morale boosting druid unit there. Remember, most barbarian troops, as we talked about before, have got low morale. So to bring a morale boosting unit is a good tactical move. So well done to Fesen there. And they're carrying those scythes there. And of course, you've got the chariots there as well. Don't forget, Britannia chariots thought to be the best chariots in the game. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Royer. Now Royer's got 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. And you'll see he's just got 5 upgrades on his infantry there. And I'm guessing he probably got 5 upgrades on his cavalry. Yeah, got 5 upgrades on his cavalry as well. I'm guessing gold attack, maybe silver defense there. And you notice there he split his army into 2. Be interesting to see how he uses that during the course of the battle. Okay, so let's have a look and see if we can find their 4th team. Oh, there he is. The 4th teammate is RTW player Barclayman. Now Barclayman has got a collection of units in his army. He's got chosen axemen, he's got 3 berserkers, he's got spear units, and he's got night raiders as well. Of course, they're all hiding in the woods. We'll just maybe have a look at them a little bit later on. And there's his Germanic armoured cavalry general there. But make no mistake, he's got some really good units in his Germanic army there. Let's say hiding in the woods at the moment. And let's see if we can find their 5th teammate, wherever he is, hiding in the woods somewhere. He's just trying to find him. Oh, I think I can see him. Yeah, there he is. And their 5th teammate is Brotherhood member Aurelius with his faction of choice, Greek cities. Now he's got 10 Spartans and 4 cavalry. Okay, 10 Spartans and 4 cavalry. Obviously his cavalry are hiding in the woods there, but that is his faction of choice. So there's the 5 enemy armies. This got the potential to be an absolutely cracking battle. Okay, so just to explain this battle, you'll see that the 3 of us have got map advantage here, and we have of course got money advantage as well. Okay, so our team can spend 41,600. That's how much money we've got each to upgrade our armies with. Okay, so we get 41,600 plus we get map advantage, the 3 of us. Okay, but the 5 armies of the enemy team, they only get 25k each to upgrade their armies with. Okay, so they get 25k each to upgrade their armies with, but there are 5 of them. Okay, so this, as I say, it's a 3v5, right? And the enemy get 25k each to upgrade their troops. So remember, as I said, we get 41,600 to upgrade our troops with each, okay? And they get 25k each, but there are 5 of them. Now, make no mistake, in the last battle we played, okay, we made some mistakes, and the sheer number of enemy troops overwhelmed us and swamped us. Okay, so even though we've got more money to upgrade our troops, any mistakes by us like we did in the last game, and we were absolutely inundated and swamped by sheer enemy numbers, and that's why they won with a clear victory. So tactics and strategy is going to have to change, I think. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought you might like to see something interesting. Can you see that group of trees there? You can see that there's nothing in those trees, can you? There's nothing, like, there's no units at the bottom of those trees or anything like that. But if you move the mouse key down, can you see that Scorpion King has got units in there hidden? Okay, I think if I remember correctly, he's got all his cavalry and some pike units hiding in those woods, ready to ambush enemy troops. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. That's where he's got his cavalry and a couple of infantry units there ready, as I say, just to ambush enemy troops if they get close. So it'll be interesting to see how he does that. Meanwhile, up on the top of the hill here, you'll see that we are forming up. And as I say, we've got to learn some lessons from our defeat from the last battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you'll see that Barclayman has just brought his Germanic army out of the woods there. Remember, we didn't get quite a good look at their army there because he was hiding in the woods. So there you've got the warband spearmen, anti-cavalry. Of course, you've got the axemen, the chosen axemen, with their effective against armour axes. You've got the screeching women, morale boosting unit there, and of course you've got the night raiders there with their fear factor that they bring. So I think that's a pretty good solid 25k Germanic army there that Barclayman has made. And there you'll see Scorpion King has got his one chariot unit there. Looks like he's going to kind of maybe harass and harangue enemy troops. Now remember, this particular type of battle really sharpens up your team play, because those 5 armies there that are facing us, they've really got to come up with a plan, okay? You know, and teamwork to follow up that plan is very, very important. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to introduce this type of game, this type of battle into RTW, because I think it really does sharpen up your team play, you know, the battle plan that your team's going to try and work to. So it'll be interesting to see how the 5 armies there do. Right, you can see one of Scorpion King's units has been moved. Scorpion King must have moved that unit there. Remember, as soon as the unit's moved, it is no longer in hiding. So you can see that there, now he's disappeared, now he's come back again. So he's obviously moved there, but you can see that Greek city's army approaching that clump of trees. So whether Scorpion King's thinking about ambushing that Greek city's army, I'm not sure. That's an army I don't think I'd want to ambush there. The Spartans are pretty tough. Oh, there you are. So Scorpion King now has moved those troops in the trees now, and you can see that they're all visible now to everybody in the game. That's a Britannia chariot there, just charged in. Didn't know they were hiding there. Look at the charioteers that Britannia has just lost there, charging into there, and you can see that the Seleucid chariot of Scorpion King he brought in there as well, try and finish off that Britannia chariot. But there you can see Aurelius moving his Spartans forward, and you'll see that Scorpion King now is moving his cavalry and some of his infantry back up the hill there. That Britannia chariot kind of sprung the ambush there before it could really be set. If you notice here, this must be part of the enemy's team plan there. You'll see that Britannia and Spain are coming up round our right flank. Okay, so just to give you a heads up on this, when we lost the last battle, this is pretty well what they did before. They came at us from different angles. Right, you can see Britannia and Germania there. Whether they're going to hit us in the centre while their allies come up on our flanks, we'll just have to wait and see. But as I say, the 5 armies there are really going to have to come up with a team battle plan for this. So that's why it gets you thinking. Do you see what I mean? Like I say, it kind of sharpens up your battle planning and your teamwork there. Okay, so here you'll see Aurelius there charging his Spartans into those Seleucid troops there. Okay, very aggressive there by Aurelius there with his army. Remember, the enemy team have only got 25k each, but as I say, there are 5 of them, and in the last battle we made some mistakes and we were absolutely swamped and inundated by enemy numbers. That's where they got a clear victory last game. So here, as I say, Aurelius being very, very aggressive as he's pushing up the hill here against those Seleucid troops. You can see that Romex has brought some of his Julii infantry over to try and neutralise that attack. And as I say, over on our right flank there, you see Britannia and Spain slowly moving around our right flank. Notice not running, because they don't want to be tired when they get up into the combat zone. And if they were running, of course, they would be tired. So they're walking at the moment to come round our flank. Okay, you'll see I've got my army there. I may well decide to move down the hill towards those Spartans there. If I can get into range with my pylons, I could do a lot of damage. And of course, with the downhill bonus that I would get, I could charge into the right. Now, I think Aurelius spotted my army moving towards his, and he's done a really good tactical move here in withdrawing his Spartan army there. There you can see my army coming down through the woods. He spotted that and thought, nope, he's not going to stand there and get piloted to death. He's going to move his army back. So that was a good tactical move there by Aurelius. Okay, Now you can see Scorpion King here. Now that Germanic army, to me, I don't know what you're thinking, that Germanic army is now isolated right in front of us. And what I'm thinking here was, with the downhill bonuses, are you thinking what I'm thinking there? Well, we'll just have to see. But here you'll see that Royer, with his Brutio army, the Spanish and the Britannia armies moving around our right flank. But to me, that Germanic army, I mean, with the downhill bonuses we're going to get, does that look a little bit isolated to you? Just pause the game for a second here. Okay, so there you are. There's that Germanic army. And what I'm thinking here is, imagine the downhill charge bonus we would get if we smashed into that Germanic army there. So do you think the Germanic army is a little bit isolated there and is a potential target for us? Do you think you'd take advantage of that target if it was you? Well, there you are. You know what Scorpion King is going to do with his Seleucid army, and here he comes into the Germanic troops there. Here they come, and the cavalry's going to hit first, by the looks of it, the fully upgraded cataphracts, and bang! As they smash into those Germanic troops there. And here comes the pikes as well, the Seleucid pikes. I think there's some Silver Shield Legionnaires in there as well. Oh my gosh, Scorpion King's throwing his chariot unit in there as well. Oh my gosh. But, now I say to you, could this be a little mistake here? Now, can you think why I'm saying that? Okay, now remember that those Germanic chosen axemen have got a big anti-armor bonus. Okay, they're effective against armor. Okay, I'm just going to pause again for a second here. So look at those Germanic troops holding there against those cataphracts. Now remember, there's two things I want to show you here. Can you see that Scorpion King is alt-attacked with his effective against armor maces? But that bonus is lost because they're fighting troops with no armor. Look at those Germanic troops, they've got no armor. So that the mace effective against armor bonus is not in effect because they're not fighting armored troops. Okay, but the effective against armor axemen will be chopping down those Seleucids, because remember, the heavier the armor, right, the more that effective against armor bonus comes in. So remember that those armored cataphracts with their 30 defense are massively armored. So those chosen axemen effective against armor axes bonus will be at its maximum against those well upgraded cavalry there. Okay, so I've got a feeling Scorpion King could lose all of his fully upgraded cavalry, and you can see the enemy in the meantime moving around our right flank there. Okay, and don't forget we've got Greek cities on our left flank there, slowly moving up through the woods. Okay, so as I say, they're coming at us from two separate flanks there, the right and the left flank. Okay, but as I say here, I've got a feeling poor old Scorpion King is going to lose all his fully upgraded cataphracts here, fighting those effective against armor axemen. I've just got a nasty feeling about that. Just look at those axemen cutting down those fully upgraded cataphracts. As I say, the effective against armor axes there will there will be a maximum bonus against those well armored troops. Or you can see the infantry coming down. You can see those Germanic troops are now starting to rout, but if I remember correctly, most of those Germanic troops rallied. We'll just have to see later on. I think if I remember correctly, they did. But what I wanted to show you here, okay, you can see now that the Julii, our Julii ally and our Seleucid ally is moving their infantry back up the hill. But look at the dead cataphracts there. Look, Scorpion King in that one, it's got one man left in that cavalry unit. What's that? 2 men in that cavalry unit. And 2 men in that cavalry unit, and these were fully upgraded cataphracts. And you can see they just got chopped up by those effective against armor axemen of Germania, even though the cataphracts had the downhill charge bonus. Just look at what those axemen did to those fully upgraded cataphracts. As I say, the heavier the armor, the more effective the effective against armor axes bonus works. And there you can see a lot of those Germanic troops are starting to rally now. So you'll see that Scorpion King and Romex are bringing their infantry back up onto the hill. But as I say, you can see that 3 enemy armies are on our right flank there. And we've got Greek cities moving up through the woods on our left flank. Okay, so obviously this is the team plan that the enemy team have come up with. And As I say, they've got 3 armies there now moving towards us. You notice here I'm moving my army over to try and counter their move. But as I say, if you notice here, can you see a heck of a lot of the Germanic troops have rallied? And if I remember correctly, there's a couple of berserker units there. And I just wonder, I don't think a Barclayman might have been paying attention here, but see this berserker unit there? Okay, I think it's going to get there. Or can you see what's left of his cavalry is going to smash that berserker unit as it goes in there? Can you see that? And bang! And it smashes in there and has routed that berserker unit there. So that, I don't think that berserker unit's going to rally now. That's just going to get taken out. There's a chariot unit coming in just to finish them off there. But you can see a lot of the Germanic troops have rallied there. And if I remember correctly, they've got a berserker unit that's rallied as well. Okay, remember, berserker units are arguably the most powerful unit in the game. Okay, but over here you'll see, as I say, I've faced my army there towards the threat of these 3 enemy armies that could move in. And as I say, don't forget the Greek cities are coming up through the woods on our other flank there. And you can see that Romex has put 3 infantry units up to kind of counter their attack on our left flank. Don't forget you've got the chariots here of Britannia, which will be lowering the morale of our troops as well. Okay, but over here you'll see Scorpion King bringing his usual aggressive self and kind of chasing those Spanish bull warriors away with his mostly Seleucid pikes, and I think there's a silver shield infantry unit in there as well. And you'll see that Tabor is just moving the bulk of his Spanish troops away from those Seleucid infantry there. And here you'll see Romex bringing some more of his infantry over there to try and counter the enemy attack. And I must say, in this battle, we're a little bit more organised in this battle than what we were last time. But there you can see the Greek cities coming up through the woods there to attack those 3 units. You'll see that I'm changing the disposition of my infantry battle formation there to try and face the main threat coming in on us there. Okay, you can see the Greek cities are attacking already, and it'll be interesting to see how aggressive the enemy team are going to be. There's a chariot unit there. Looks like it was almost run astray, didn't it? Just charging in there like that. It's not gonna do much there. But as I say, here you can see Aurelius's battle-hardened Spartans there, moving into those 3 units of Romexes there. Now, what I remember in this battle is, I think the cavalry that we had made a big difference in this battle. We kind of yoked the strength of our cavalry there, the Julii cavalry there, like a bang, as it smashes into those enemy troops, along with our infantry, some infantry units of ours as well. The potential there, you can see Romex's cavalry is going in, my cavalry is coming in there as well, and we've got the potential to rout all these enemy troops in front of us here. There are infantry we are throwing in, but really it's the cavalry hits that we brought in there that caused the main rout, I think, to those enemy troops. Okay, you can see the Spanish troops that were running away from those Seleucid units coming back into the fray. Remember, those bull warriors can throw pilers. Okay, and you can see Scorpion King's pikeman there, he's holding at the back, maybe to bring them in a little bit later on. Okay, but the Germanic troops that are rallied, look, they're coming back into the fray. And as I say, I'm pretty sure there was a berserker. Yes, there is a berserker unit there. As I say, arguably, berserkers are the most powerful units in the game. So you can see here that Germania, Barclayman here, is moving those troops up. And there's a good, oh my gosh, you can see here that those 3 infantry units that Romex put in to try and stop the Greek cities have now been routed, and the Greek cities army and Germania army are now in behind us. Okay, so there's the units that Romex put there to try and stop the Greek cities have now been routed, and now you've got the Greek city and Germanic infantry looking to come in behind us now. Do you see what I mean about 5 armies? If we make a mistake, we're just swamped and inundated by enemy troops. Look at the enemy cavalry there, ready to smash into the flank of our armies there. So, as I say, any mistake by the 3 of us, like it was in the last battle, we were just, as I say, swamped by sheer enemy numbers when you're going up against 5 armies there. Okay, so you can see, once again, I'm changing the disposition of my army there, the battle position in there to face the threat coming in on us. Okay, so there you are, you've got the Germanic troops and the Greek cities troops coming in behind us there. Okay, but once again, if I remember correctly, I think our cavalry was very, very effective in this particular battle. There, you can see Romex there is bringing his cavalry back. Going to lock and load it. And I've got my cavalry there as well, because you can see the main threat at the moment is coming in on our flank from the Greek cities and Germania. Right, let's pause again for a second here. Okay, so there you are. I've turned units in my battle formation to face the threat coming in on my right flank. And you can see the Germania troops there. Don't forget there's Night Raiders there as well as the Berserkers, sapping morale from our troops. There's a Berserker unit there, look, ready to be activated. You've got the Night Raiders, you've got the effective against armor axemen there, all coming in on the flank of my battle formation. Okay, but just watch our cavalry in a minute. Okay, you've got the Britannia troops there, may well trying to hit us there. And you've got the Spanish troops on our left flank, those bull warriors coming in as well. Now, if they hit us, you know, with a unified, coordinated hit with all those troops, that possibly could cause us real problems here. But just watch the cavalry advantage. Julia, I know we've lost all our Seleucid cataphracts there, but just watch the Julii cavalry advantage that we've got here. Okay, now you can see those Germanic troops. They're all ready to charge in to back up the Greek cities. But here comes our cavalry. Okay, so there's Romex cavalry and there's my cavalry, both charging into those Germanic infantry there. You can see us charging there, and you watch what happens as our cavalry smashes into that Germanic infantry. Bang! As we smash in there. Routed a lot of those Germanic infantry units on impact. That's the cavalry hit there that we've just put in to those Germanic troops. Okay, you can see the Brutii cavalry there charging into my infantry, and bang, as that Brutii cavalry smashes into my infantry. But can you see Romex and my cavalry have done a heck of a lot of damage. We've routed all those Germanic units, and we're now smashing into the back of those attacking Greek city units. Look at the penetration that Brutii cavalry had into my battle formation there. Really, that was a big hit there by the Brutii cavalry. Pause again for a second here. Okay, so over here you've got the Spanish bull warriors coming in, and you've got all of the chosen swordsmen of Britannia here could come in on our left flank, and of course you've got that Brutii cavalry. But Romex and my cavalry, as you just saw there, routed that Germanic army and smashed into the back of those Spartan units as well, causing them a lot of that Greek city's army basically has now been routed there as well. You can see the Seleucid pikes coming in on those Spartan units. Once again, I'm changing the battle position of my army there. You see my infantry battle formation has changed there to face the main threat coming in. But once again, can you see that Romex and my cavalry are there ready to strike the enemy team? So in this particular battle, our cavalry has been used really effectively, and you know, that I think the use of the cavalry here has been, I think, quite a pivotal thing in this battle. There you can see the Britannia troops really pushing in to our troops, and there comes our cavalry there. Our cavalry's going to smash in there like a bang as we smash into those Britannia troops. And yet, those Britannia troops, those chosen swordsmen, still holding. They never routed on impact as our cavalry smashed into them there. That goes to show how solid those chosen swordsmen are. Now, if those Spanish troops and the Brutii cavalry attack us on that flank, as well, those can you see the Brutii cavalry going to charge in there, going to charge in as well, and there's some Spanish bull warriors going in there as well. Look at bang as they smash in there. Oh my gosh, we've just killed the Britannia general, and you can see the chosen swordsmen have just mass routed, and that's caused their allies to mass rout as well. A chain rout there has just happened to the enemy troops there. And that's all the Britannia troops there are dead. You can see Tabor still got some of his Spanish bull warriors still fighting there, as you can see. But I think the vast majority of the rest of the enemy troops have now been they've been taken out. There's the bull warriors that are fighting. They're doing really well, I think, against the Roman troops. I think those Spanish troops are holding really well. There's cavalry coming in on them as well, and they're still holding. See those bull warriors still holding even then. You're going to charge his general in there. That could be a mistake, because I think if he loses his general there, his general's been routed there, so he's lost a general morale bonus there. But I think those Spanish bull warriors, I think they've held really well against elite Roman troops. What do you think? There, well done to those bull warriors. The sun god and the bull god there kept them fighting for a long time there, so really well done to those bull warriors. But it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle. There's Aurelius still got some of his light cavalry, and I think he's got one rallied Spartan unit in there as well. So, but it wouldn't surprise me if he decided to admit defeat there. So, as I say, in the last battle, we lost to a clear victory to the enemy team. That's one off of a crusher. Okay, so in the last battle there, they beat us with a clear victory. So, as I say, it looks like we've managed to win in this particular battle. Right, let's pause the game for a second here. I just thought you might like to look at, you know, the how many units that our Seleucid allies got left. You can see how intense the fighting was there. And I think if I remember right, the Seleucid Scorpion King's units there, he might have only had maybe 4 or 5 units left, and they were all very, very battle damaged there, as you can see. Remember those pike units are 121 man units there. Here he's got another unit over there. But you can see that a lot of the Seleucid troops have been taken out. But what I thought was interesting, that you might find interesting, was this battle down here, where those fully upgraded Seleucid cataphracts with 30 defense had the downhill charge bonus onto those Germanic effective against armor axemen. But look how the axemen, with their effective against armor bonus, they're chopped down those heavily armored Seleucid cataphracts there. Okay, so it just goes to show that the heavier the armor, the more the effective against armor axe bonus comes into its own. Okay, over here, you can see some intense fighting here. That's where the Greek cities were fighting, and we hit the Germanic troops with our cavalry. If we look here, you can see a very intense fighting in this particular part of the battlefield there. As we move over here, more intense fighting here. That's where those Britannia troops really charged into us there, but we hit them with cavalry. And over here you can see there's a lot of Brutii cavalry dead there, where he came in on our flank. And as you say, if you look all over the battlefield, there's been little battles punctuated by intense fighting. And you can see that's where we charged our cavalry into the Brutii infantry there. You saw when we routed a lot of enemy troops there. Lots of dead Spanish bull warriors there as well. So, as you can see there, we've managed to win. As I say, remember last game they beat us with a clear victory. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. I thought everybody played well. And as you can see, we got a clear victory this game. So it is 1-1. We left it at 1-1, clear victory each. And the highest kills in the game there, as I say, goes to Gotw Romex. You got over the magic 2,000 kills there, so well done to Romex there. Really good kills there with his Julii army there. Okay, so well done to Tabor there. They'll be a bit disappointed that he got less than 1,000 kills there with his Spanish troops, but I thought they held well and fought well. Well done to Fesen. He'll probably be disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills, but I thought he did well with Britannia. Well done to Royer, very aggressive with his Brutii army. He'll probably be a bit disappointed they got less than 1,000 kills. Well done to Barclayman. He was smashed and crashed in that downhill charge, but his troops did well. And well done to Aurelius, got over 1,000 kills. So really well done, guys. Really well done. Great battle there. My kills, yeah, quite pleased with that. 1,900 kills, yeah, that's quite good with those. Say well done to Romex here, highest kills in the game. And well done to Scorpion King, got some good kills with his Seleucid pikeman there. But I was just going to say, if you look at the factions there, of course we got Rome, and Seleucid. So pretty solid there. And don't forget we have more money to spend on our troops to upgrade them. And they had Spain, Britannia, Rome, Germania and Greek cities there. Okay, remember they just had 25k each on their armies, but there were 5 of them. What did you think of the faction choices that they bought there? So as I say, this is only the second type of this battle that we've played, and I hope you enjoyed it. A 3v5. As I say, we had map advantage and money advantage, but they have 5 armies there. And as I say, this really does sharpen up your team play, because the 5 especially, they've got to have a really solid battle plan that they've got to come up between them, and then they've got to enact that battle plan. So teamwork is always essential in battles, but I think in this particular battle it is essential that your teamwork and the battle plan kind of works, especially for the 5. The 3 of us had a battle plan to try and hold that hill there, and we stuck to that, and that seemed to work for us. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.